Hi folks, back to the Fairfields Woods. I'm not going to go all the way around, I'm going to go half around and come back because that noisy path around there. I'm going to avoid that this time. Well, unless I'm finished the video, then I can just go around the noisy path, doesn't really matter. So there you go. To this one. In the last one I did raise a question, and the question has been raised obviously in many videos. What actually happened at that 8-month time when God said 8 months? So on June the 26th, around that period, what actually happened? Or on June the 26th, what happened? Because that is what matters really, because if nothing happened on that day, then really it wasn't God who said 8 months, was it? Something had to have happened on that day for it to be God. Yeah. Well, I've got to really go back to in that period and just point out how incredibly difficult a stand it was. Well, because I'm someone who's talked about church many times. I've talked about churchy people many times, and I talked about recently about marriages where people aren't putting together, or they're not of God, that sort of thing, and talking about the fact that most people marry the wrong people, because we do. That's reality. Be we Christian or non-Christian, it doesn't really matter. Well, because it's not as if church is really being led by God to guide us, as to who or how we choose the right people. So therefore we often choose the wrong people. That is true. But the problem is, I've always known that churchy people would be more likely to stay with the wrong person, because they don't want to be seen as not a good Christian. Yeah, it really is incredibly important, more important to them to be seen as a good little Christian than it is for them to be happy in their job or in their marriage or in their church or whatever. Yeah, they will put up with something that's really bad, that's not joyous as it should be, in order to look like a good little Christian. Now, the problem is, this lady herself came across to me very much as a good little Christian, because of the charity that she did, charity work and that sort of stuff, and even the work she did in church was quite typical of what you would expect a churchy person to do. Now, of course, I'm not trying to say this person is a churchy person, I'm just saying that's how it came across to me, based upon the fact that I haven't got a clue really who this person is. Not really. The only clues that I've got is what I saw during that time, right? So I'm just saying I was in a position where I had to try and look at the situation from a very limited point of view and try to understand where she was, etc. Now, when I saw what I thought was where she was, that was a situation of me saying to Father, this is a more or less impossible job here. This is really tough, because if this person is churchy, getting her to do something that the church is very much against, or will be against, she'd be getting advice to say, oh no, you shouldn't do that. No, you should stay with, and you should try and make it work. You should do all that, because that, generally speaking, is what churchy is. That's what you get with churchy. That's what churchy does. It says, no, what, things aren't working? Oh, keep working on it. Pray about it. There's evidence that's not of God, strong evidence, and if we are supposed to be together, then God will make sure we stay together. So no, we're going to split up. And the church will keep saying, no, pray about it. No, you should not separate who God has joined together. Well, where's the evidence that God joined together? Oh, well, you're together, aren't you? No, but that doesn't mean God joined. Yeah. But people in the church will keep saying things like that because that's what they believe the Bible says. And so they will keep bashing. No, stay in a bad marriage, stay in a bad marriage, stay in a bad marriage. This isn't glorifying God, but stay in a bad marriage. And I said, Father, if that's the case, What's the chance she should be able to hear you when all she's hearing is all this stuff? Yeah. Which is true. Yeah. Yeah. And then, as I got to see things, as I say, every time I happened to see this woman, it ended up badly. Very badly. Negative times, add your own number, you'll be about there. That's it, yeah. It wasn't good. It was basically pretty much every time I saw her. I mean, the way I saw it recently is that her actions were telling me to F off. Every time I saw her, her actions were telling me to F off. And so again, going to God then, because that's when I fell during that time, and then still being able to stand, it's like, excuse me, Father, look at the evidence. That's bad, really. When then it got to the point of the last day. Yeah. Now when, on the last day, when the person who you're standing on, and it's been a difficult stand to say the least, there's been no communication. Yeah. But when I said things like, it made sense, there was even a song that I came across, I think it was in the gym, Places on My Heart. I will link it into the description of this one. But that was a perfect song, really. It is. You listen to the words, that was in many ways, that was what was in my mind. Well, one bit of the thing says, I really want to know you, I really want to know you now. Well, of course, I've been standing on this thing for 8 months. Yeah, and of course, if this person is supposed to be my wife, I really want to know her, and I really want to know her now. So that bit of the lyrics, that spoke to me. Yeah. Most of it spoke to me. That song, so that became the song that was relevant to that situation. And that was during. But as I say, on the last day, no. I still stood. And I still stood right up until an hour. Because, with an hour to go, it was impossible. No, that was when, with the time period, no, there was no chance then. Yeah, not with an hour to go. So it just, no, there was no chance of that. But up to an hour, there was always a chance. And, even though it looked bad, with Father, anything is possible. And what actually clicked with me, because even on that day, there were times in that day when I was like, no, okay, Father, I give up. And then I'd sort of ungive up and stand again. And then I realised part of the way through, actually, that last day, certainly close to the end, that if I'd have been in Israel, if I'd have been one of those Israelis standing outside the Promised Land when these people were shouting fear, I said, no, if God had said we should go in, we're going in. If I'd have been the one voice that could have got us in, then we'd have gone in. Because to me, I saw giants on that last day, and I still stood. Now, am I saying I'm a blinking hero because of it? No. I'm saying I went from that point of certainly 8 months beforehand, 9 months beforehand, I would never have stood. If someone had said to me, if you were there when the Israelites were outside the Promised Land, would you have been one of the ones saying we could go in? And I said, no. I mean, in honesty, I'd have been one of the ones saying we should wait. We should wait. We should wait until God has really given us a sign saying, yes, this really is, because it does look incredibly bad. Yeah. Now I'm at a point of saying, no, I would say we're going in. I would say I'll give my life on that fact. Because if God is saying, I would die for that. And now I was in a position of understanding that, yeah, I would. So what happened on that 8 months? That did. Yeah. On that day of 8 months, that's what happened. I also got to a point where I could speak to other people about standing because I stood. I could speak to other people about what standing was about. I could speak to other people about the fact that when God says you stand on it, it doesn't have to actually happen. You stand on it. because that is what matters. That's what develops character. I knew that that's what God was doing with me. And yeah, that's what happened. That's what God was talking about. As I say, I mean, the thing of it is yeah, God doesn't necessarily tell us. He doesn't. Well, if God had told me 8 months earlier, okay, yeah, I'm going to get you to stand. I'm going to encourage you to believe you're standing on the fact you will be married to this person. And once you get married to this person, your life is going to change immensely, but you'll be married to this person on this particular day. That is not going to happen. I am wanting you to do that because I'm wanting you to stand. Because at the end of the stand, you'll now be a person who would stand on my word, whatever. You would now be a person who I can trust that if I tell you to go, that you're going to go. If he had said that to me then and said, will you stand on that? I'd go, are you kidding? No. No. No, why would I do that? Go for all that heartache and all that strife of going through that stand and falling, and having no support for it. Why on earth would I want to do that? So no. No, he gave me a reason for the stand that was something that has been on my heart for a long time of what I wanted. So, I stood based on that. Do I regret it? No. Not in any way, shape or form, I do not. No. As I said 2 days later, well actually, if you go back and listen to the videos, I think it was 1 day later, I said, I felt God was saying, if I said again, stand, would you? And I was not impressed with that question at all. It's going, no, I bloody well wouldn't. But then when I thought about it, I realised, no, actually I would. I would. Because I realised it's an absolute honour to stand. It's an absolute honour for God to do this, to work in you and develop you as a person. And to give you his time in that way, to care enough about you to do all that. For God to care enough about you to do all that, oh, there you go. Yeah. That's it really, isn't it? When it comes down to it, yes. As I say, it's an absolute honour to be in that situation, and I can share that with people. And if that was all it was about, I'd go for it. Yeah. Well, of course, I mean, if God could show me, or even show me the video I'm doing today, or the one I did a few days afterwards, and then say, well, now would you stand, even believing that it won't happen? Of course I would, yeah. I'd say, yeah, I've persuaded myself I would stand now. Okay, I'll do that, yeah. So hopefully I can persuade someone else to. That's the thing. Hopefully in sharing that, I can help someone else to stand. Yeah. These flies again. Go away, fly. God, what are you buzzing around me for? Donut. That's the thing, the fly wants a donut, I think. They quite like donuts, I think. Flies, yeah. All the sugar. Yeah. Anyway, so there you go. That's the point. When it comes down to it, that is what I got on that day. That is what I was incredibly blessed with. To have that understanding. Go back around here. Well, because I'll finish the video before I get some noisy path anyway, so that's cool. Yeah. I've just done a bit of training indoors before anyway, so coming out, it's quite muggy, but it still helps to cool me down a bit. So that's good. Yeah. Well, look, I mean, really, reality is, even if I don't have that sort of relationship in the future, I'm not going to be bothered. I'm not. Not particularly. Well, because, I don't know, I'm not sure what is ahead. But I know that it's going to be fantastic, whatever it is, really. You know, I mean, if doing these videos is my only part of what's coming, if I'm not going to be involved in that, then okay, I'm doing this. If doing this can help people to get there, then great. Yeah, that's it. Really, that's my desire. There's nothing else, is it, really? Nothing else I need for that, really. But to do that, so yeah. Yeah. So, we will see. We will see what happens. Because it's all to do with God. But, no, I mean, one thing I would say is, like recently, earlier today actually, God was speaking to me about opulence. And about saying, why settle? Well, for example, I was talking about cars and saying the nicest car I drove was the Mercedes. And, yeah, why settle for Mercedes? Why not have a Rolls Royce or, yeah, one of that sort of level? And so, well, Father, the reality is, as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't want anything like that. Not really. I don't think Rolls Royce is a... I don't think it's a drivable car. I think if you want a chauffeur sort of car, I think that's perfect for that. I certainly wouldn't want to drive it around normal streets, so it's not that sort of car, is it, really? So no, a bit impractical. I mean, you know, yeah. I get the point, though. I do. Because, as I've said, it really is about our lives reflecting the God that we have. Now, as I say, can I say? And can anyone else really say that our lives are doing that right now? No. So, I mean, if I'm saying that a marriage that is not... Well, put it this way. In your marriage, if being around the person you're with, your husband, your wife, if it doesn't still take your breath away, you're probably with the wrong person. Or you've probably got a heck of a lot of work to do in your relationship because it's nowhere near what it should be. Because if you're with the right person, that person should be taking your breath away when you're with them. There will be elements of them that takes your breath away. And it shouldn't be the way they look. It should be who they are as a person. Really. Yeah. That should be the case. You shouldn't be settling for anything less. So if that's the case, then with everything, we shouldn't be settling for anything lower than what is possible. Especially what will glorify God. If we had that. You know. So, yeah. If it's going to be opulent, you know, all flash and stuff like that, okay. Yeah, I mean, if God wants me to wear suits and that sort of stuff, okay. You know, difficult to find good fitting suits, as I'm 5'7". You know, little legs. I'm about a size, I don't know, large, with shoulders and chest and stuff. But so to say, find a jacket with the trousers to match that are going to fit me. Not easy. You know, so I'll leave that to God. If He wants me to wear that sort of stuff, that's His challenge, isn't it? Really? Yeah. And that's the thing. It is. Yeah, because it can't be down to whether I can afford it. Because if it's down to whether I can afford it, then no. Because would I ever put myself first in that way? No. Of course not. I would never do that. Because that's never been something that's important to me. If it's what God wants, then God has to be the one to basically, gently push me in that direction. Yeah. I'd happily go. I mean, I'd have to start ironing again, and I don't really want to do that. Not really. No. But I will. I mean, I'll have to find a decent dry cleaner. Because if they're decent quality clothing, then they'll have to be dry cleaned. Yeah, actually, if they're dry cleaned, I won't have to iron them, will I? Cushy. Good. I mean, we'll have to get someone to actually really properly design self-ironing clothes, but nice clothes that are self-ironing. I'll wear those. Happily wear some lovely self-ironing shirts. Yeah, I don't have to iron them. That's cool. Yeah, anything like that, it just isn't me. Yeah. If it has to be me, then it has to be me. Yeah, that's the point. I've got no idea what I'm changing towards, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so I mean, as I say, a lot of things changed on the 26th of June for me. Yeah, who I am changed immensely on that day, and so yeah, did the point of 8 months mean something? It meant so bloody much. Yeah. Well, I'm not in any way, shape or form the same person that I was pre to that. And even my understanding of God and my understanding of what's the purpose of all this has changed so much in that time. And even changed so much since that time. My understanding since the 26th of June has changed immensely of what the purpose of things are. So yeah, what was there? Was there a point to the 8 months? Yeah, quite a few, I think. So yeah, I'm cool with that, indeed. It wasn't what I thought it was, but it was so much more. Yeah. Well, even I knew that things were happening. I knew that my understanding was happening, because basically the 8 months, I was told the 8 months before God told me about we're supposed to go through the Word to a relationship with Father, then about creation, then about 10 years. They all come afterwards. And through them, my understanding of everything just changed. Well, as I said earlier, I was one of these people who was talking about revival and praying about revival. Now I know revival is never going to happen. Because what we were asking for wasn't really revival anyway. But I know that what we're going to get is far better than revival. Far better than what anyone imagined revival would be. So it's like, whoa! That's just brilliant. Kick the cone! Yeah. Oh, I did my towing a bit further on. A couple of years back. I bought a football with the dogs. I brought the dogs here. And I bought a football, and I kicked the ball. Didn't realise there was a big rock right there. Broke my toe. Yeah. How inconsiderate and rude. Yeah, I've often told that rock off since. Yeah. There you go. It happened. Toe's healed now, so that's fine. Yeah. But again, things like healing is something we're going to have to relearn, because it's not going to be a case of laying hands upon people. It will be a case of learning about what laying hands was, because the church in the future, as I say, if we have that sort of church in the future where it's just about learning who God is, learning who we are, learning why the Lord came, learning how to walk, then you will be laying on hands in that. But as a son, walking as a son with the authority and power that comes with that, you won't be laying on hands anymore. You won't need to. No. Well, it won't be the same as what it was. It won't be a case, you won't have to go with someone else. It won't be, because biblically speaking, they were normally sent out in twos. That won't be the case, definitely. And it won't be a case that there'd be some long drawn out prayer for it. Nope. That won't be a case. It was simply a case to receive. You tell the person to receive, they either receive it or they don't. Bye-bye. Okay, next person. Simple as that. Receive. Because that's it. All people have to do is receive. We don't have to have a long prayer, because the healing doesn't come from me. And you don't have to unlock it. It's already been done. You just have to receive it. So your prayer doesn't have to unlock it. Your prayer, all that has to do is help the person to receive. Now, how that's going to happen, I don't know. I imagine if you can see everything about that person from heaven's point of view, then you'll be speaking to that person's life from what heaven has told you about that person, and that will therefore unlock that person's faith. Now, that person will therefore have enough faith to receive that healing. This is a noisy bit of path. Yes, what's through there? That's interesting. Very noisy. This looks noisy as well. What's through there? This is very noisy as well. Give me the unnoisy bit of path. There you go, that'll do. Yeah. There you go, this is quieter. Yeah. Now, as I say, that so with healing, that's how that's going to work out. Deliverance, even easier. Deliverance, you just tell the demon to leave. It has to leave because you have the authority. Because you are a son, so therefore you have the authority. That demon will have to obey immediately. There's no, like it is now, people don't even want to go into that ministry of deliverance because of the fact it's quite a, you go against demons. They don't really want to do that. Yeah, that won't be the case. So yeah, all of that will just be a lot easier, a lot more of, just more beautiful. It will just be incredible. And so yeah, that'll be it. Yeah. And that's what we've got coming. I think that will be the case, and it's going to be absolutely glorious. Yeah. Well, as I say, and also that point about languages and all that sort of stuff. If you come across somebody who speaks a different language, heaven will interpret for you. So when you speak, so if I speak in English and that person is Chinese, I will speak in English, but that person will understand in Chinese. And when that person speaks in Chinese, I will understand in English, because heaven is giving interpretation. Yeah. And that sounds pretty cool as well, really. Yeah. Well, because of course, there are no different languages in heaven. You've got people going there from all different places of the world, all different times of the world, where different languages were spoken. And yet, there's no need for an interpreter in heaven at all. So why is that? It's because, it's all languages under God, isn't it? Because it's all languages under God, heaven knows what someone's saying, whatever language that person is speaking. So therefore, that's where you get your interpretation from. And that's cool. Yeah. Indeed. But as I say, there are some interesting, fascinating and beautiful things that I think we're going to be walking into soon. And so, yeah. Well, again, what's my part going to be? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't care. I don't know. I don't care. It really is up to God, isn't it, then? It's up to God to say what he wants those things to be, because, well, in the end, that's the reality. It's up to him. Yeah. I'm not in a position to demand, and really, I mean, as I say, I've already had the honour of standing. I've already had the honour of sharing, about standing, how to stand, and, when you fall, how to get up again. So with that being the case, how many more honours will I want, really? I mean, I'll take however many is available, obviously, but I'm not going to be demanding anymore, because certainly there have been a lot of people that have died before me who were in churches who never got any honours like that. So therefore, I'm not going to be pushing it. No, Father, it really is up to you. Because it's not about me, is it? And so it really isn't. It's about what needs to be done from going forwards. And if my personality is right for that, then, or right for a job, then God will use me. If my personality is not right for a job, then I won't. And as I said to people, I've been saying this for a long time as well. Your race is of well, to you, an unknown distance. Your race might just be 100 metres. If my race is just 100 metres, I've run it. It's quite possible I've run my race already. It's possible my race is a longer race, but it's quite possible I've run it already. And if I've run it already, that's cool. It was brilliant. I do what I can to support those that are still running. Yeah. That's the thing of it, really. Yeah. And that's the point. That's what I do. 1 second, we're coming across a person and doggy. So. How you doing? There's a big dog behind you as well.
Is there?
Yeah.
Is there?
German Shepherd there.
Oh right, didn't see it at all.
Aye.
She's in season as well.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she'd actually keep her on the lead. She's really good.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. Hello, pup. How you doing? How you doing? Oh, you are beautiful. Hey, you sure? Oh, you is lovely. Right. Well, it could be a male dog. You never know. Right, take care. How you doing? All right?
Hey there.
Woman was saying that her dog is in season, so.
All right.
Yeah. Enjoy. Take care. Hi. It's nice to see doggies. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, it's a safe race with regards to the length of your walk. You don't know how long it'll be. Yeah. And that's why it's never a good idea to look at other people and try and compare yourself with them, because they may have a longer walk than you or shorter walk than you, and their race might be longer, might be more detailed. So we don't. How God needs to train that person, well, that's a different thing completely, isn't it, really? And we shouldn't be looking at that. But it's an honour just to be involved, isn't it, really? Because it is the Father's business, and how much He chooses to allow you into it, to do into it, is His business, really. Yeah. How you doing, all right?
Yeah, you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it really, when it comes down to it. If we are supposed to be sons, then we're supposed to be coming into the family business. And the thing about the family business is, it's His business. It's not my business, it's His. He's been running this business for however long He's been running it, and it's all been done according to His will, His ways, and that's the way it's going to be done. And anyone willing to come into that and under that, they will be welcomed as part of the workforce. There's a lot of people that won't, and so they won't be welcomed, but that's up to them, isn't it, really? Yeah. It is very much a case, it's up to God, isn't it, really? Yeah. Well, there you go. It's alright, there was a bird box there. I wondered if it had fallen down with one of the trees, quite likely. Because it's got big lumps here of trees that have been cut down, so maybe it was on one of those. Yeah. No idea. No birds in it, I wouldn't imagine. No. Yeah. So, yeah. There you go, I think that'll do for this one. But yeah, definitely, yeah. When God said 8 months, He meant it for a reason, and that reason did happen. And again, I'm not trying to say that I'm some special blinking person. God did all the work. Really, He did the work. Me standing, that was really down to Him supporting me. Because I would never have stood. Not in the way I did. There's no way, shape or form. Yeah. No. And again, what I would say is, I said how appearances were at that time. I'm not trying to say that person was in any way, shape or form anything like that. I'm simply saying that was how God wanted me to see it at the time. Yes? Right, there you go. You take care. God bless. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.